Bhagavate Shri Arunachala Ramanaya.
Jayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita va nabhuya acho nityasya shatoyam purana nanyate ganyamane sharire. Self is not born, nor does it ever die. Always having been, it never ceases to be. Unborn, eternal, changeless, ancient, it is not killed when the body is killed. Bhagavad Gita 2:20.
Keeping quiet is the easiest way to be that Atman. Who complains? Who likes? Who dislikes? Who criticizes? Who finds fault in others? Who? Who is that? Who is that in us? By doing all this, he stays miserable and he makes others miserable. Who is that? When Atma is imperishable, Sat Chitanand, then who is that? The moment you grasp this truth, all this construct, this unreal construct of ego drops. People who are always after a practice can never be that. Some people are always busy in refining their practice. That's nothing but ego. Keeping quiet and the ego dissolves. And you stay as a doer even of practice, ego survives. Ego becomes strong. Whatever we do, ritual we do, bhakti we do, we worship a form, we do a japa. Whatever we do, question who is the doer? Nothing but ego. Doership can never make us liberated. Spiritual doership or any action and you cannot do anything for liberation. That is also because the one who is trying to liberate, we have to liberate from that. So that effort coming from ego can never lead to liberation. Never ever. Without exception. Understand this truth. What ego can do? Ego can only surrender. Surrender itself. And when ego does any practice or anything, what is the end result? What is the final goal of all that doership by ego? That ultimately realizing that I cannot do anything. So all practices drop. And that is left. This is the benefit of practice, to know that I have no ability to practice. This we only get when we give up all what we can, and then we realize that we are incapable. If practice gives you the result, then who has won? Tell me. Self or ego? Then who will claim victory? Self or ego? And then what? Ego has achieved peace. Ego and peace are antonyms. Wherever there is ego, there cannot be peace. It can pretend to be peaceful for a while, just like this world around us. When we see the word in peace, actually they are preparing for war, nothing else. They are collecting weapons. Sending enemies in different countries. And then there is a war. That is what ego is. Individual ego or collective ego. What are we achieving in satsang? We are only trying to be humble and surrender. So the grace does its job of finishing the ego. Grace takes away our individuality, our ego, our doership, our personhood. So that purest of pure is left. That absolute is left. And all that coming from the projection of mind becomes like a distant dream. And all the fuel to this projection coming from ego has finished, has disappeared. This is the real death of unreality. Unreality has finished, and this power of grace. We can only win by becoming a devotee. Not by learning techniques. If you call it a technique, how to be a good devotee, yes, then it is a technique. And grace is constantly flowing, incessantly. It's abundant. To grasp it, to feel it, to be in that godliness. We just have to surrender. In this mode of surrender, when a thought pops up, entertains you, or causes suffering, tell to that thought that there is no one here. It is a wrong address. I have stopped receiving you. I have already surrendered. I am not at home. So if you are coming here, you are welcome, but sorry, I am not going to entertain you. My chapter is closed. You can go somewhere else. Knock someone else's door. My story is finished. When you are at that level of surrender, then that energy takes over. Until you continue on your path of practice and doing and this and that, and people take sannyas, they leave everything, they don't wear clothes, go into a cave, leaving all relationships, but leaving one which is the most crucial, this ego. That is why Bhagavan used to say, real sannyas is giving up I thought. Changing clothes is not a sannyas, or changing your place of stay is not a sannyas. I would say change of place from where you operate. Change of place from where you operate. You have to give up that. God is within, and ego is external. Mind is projecting outward. This ego is looking things outward. This outward projected mind, operated through ego, using sense organs, cannot find that God which is within. These instruments fail completely. How smart you are, how intellectual you are, they are useless instruments to know that God or self. Something has to recede here, and to know that truth. How it recedes only God knows. Our preparation is to be the right candidate for that grace. That's all we can do. How to be a real devotee. Devotee is the one who has constant remembrance of pure self. Incessantly, all the time. He has lost all other interest. All actions are disinterested. This can only happen when someone is a bit mad or crazy. Some people, wherever they go, they have these earbuds, earplugs. They're listening to their own music wherever they are going or traveling, and they're saying, or whatever. It is like that, always established in your heart. During mundane things or even big things, and see how that energy does everything without doership. And so then nothing touches you, nothing leaves a trace of any memory, good or bad, nothing. Nothing touches you. As if you have this protective coating of that self all over. You move, it seems you move in the body, but you stay in that purity. As if there is something keeping you separate from the body-mind complex all the time. Then the problem becomes the other way. It is so hard to come to that level again. You cannot. Because this is our natural state, pure awareness. This is what we are always. We are only in this delusion only for a short while. Even if it might be few births, even then it is just a short time. We are beyond time. Mind has no clue what is beyond time, because mind is full of memories. It stores memory in the brain in form of past, right now, what is happening, and then what it projects in the future. It has no clue about this moment, which is always the same. No present, no past, no future. It is as it is. Always the same. We say eternal. Eternal also looks like we are talking in the time. There's no time in it. Time is only construct of mind. Beyond mind, there is no time. Because anything which is a projection of mind has a life, has a timeline. It comes and goes on this screen of projection. When it comes, we say birth. When it goes away, we say death. Animate or inanimate, everything comes and goes. People are born, buildings are constructed, they disappear. Something new comes up. Awareness only watches this. Whatever comes and goes, awareness never gets affected. Awareness never plays any role. It is uninvolved. there is not much to say about it. Because whatever we say about it cannot be reality. Because we will be using mind, we will be using speech. They all fell short of what it is. You can only be that. And you can only be that when you leave what you think you are. You cannot be both. Like when we are in dream, we are a dream person. When the dream finishes, then we come to this body and we think we are this body. Exactly the same way we recede into reality, leaving this identity forever. When Bhagavan gives this practice of self-inquiry, who am I? It is only to tell you who are you, that's all. When you do contemplate on it deeply, you come to this silence. When he talks about thoughts coming to the person, and the person questions, who am I? This is to dissolve your ego. Dissolve that ahem, that I thought. Nothing else. For someone, it could be just one time. You did it, you agreed, and it finished. What practice? Practice is only for ego, isn't it? If you are that, then what practice? What? Practice is only when you are not able to understand. Otherwise, what practice? Practice is only when you are not convinced. Practice is when you have thousands of other interests. Practice is when you're doubtful. Once understood, then what is left? Nothing. And once known, then what to know again and again? Nothing. I'll tell you, the reason I'm telling you is sometimes People stay as a seeker and they want to stay as a seeker. And they love the juice of as a seeker. So many people say, oh, bhakti, I enjoy, doing bhajans, prayers. Then it is just entertainment. Then you and the one who is going to watch a show, there's not much difference. Doership has to do with all acts happening through the body-mind complex. When I talk one-to-one, sometimes people say, then how would I function? I cannot function. I will dissolve. People are so scared. How would I function? And I have to say, I cannot function. I will die. I will finish off. And then what is left is pure bliss only. This in us, which always has this question, how I will function. We are holding that ego all the time. Because this question can never come someone who has surrendered completely. This question will never come someone who has merged into the self. It cannot come even as a thought. Understand, even for these thoughts which come to us, there is some basis, there is some relationship. Otherwise, why would they come? And why particular type of thought comes to a person, not to someone else? Because of our relationships with all those things. Who is most intelligent? Most intelligent, who understands the truth and finishes this illusion right now. The one who wants to stay in this wheel of life and wants to understand can never understand. You have to move aside out of it. Then only you can be free. And then you will realize that you are always free. The one who was stuck up was only your image. What we see us in this body and mind and the word and situation is only an image, it's only a reflection. And we are trying to fix the reflection. Nobody has ever fixed the reflection. As if you are seeing a painting in water, reflection in water, and you want to fix that painting in water, but it's not there. But mind is projecting outward, so we all look outward. And to look inward is to touch your own inner silence. Grace of self is infinite, flowing all the time. It is a very, very heavy current. It is so much so that you cannot miss. So much so that you see it all the time. You can feel it all the time. There is no place where it is not, no situation in which it gets less. There is nothing else but that only. If you want to see everywhere, you have to see within you. Once we see it here, then it is everywhere. We are the source. Every one of us is the source. Sit in contemplation of that pure self in your heart. Be with that. It is nameless, it is formless, and it is you. But lovingly you can call it anything. God, Ramana, Shiva, Krishna, Christ, Muhammad, whatever, or nothingness. Truth of the matter is, it is you. You in your own purity. You in your reality. You not in this dream. This unreal self in this unreal world. Doing unreal things. When everything is unreal, how come it gives real suffering to us? Then suffering should be unreal also. I have seen sometimes so-called spiritual masters, they write their biographies, autobiographies. I don't know how they write it. If there is a story of an individual, then it is the story of ego only, nothing else. Otherwise, they might be full of compassion to write all that unreal stuff just for the sake of others, maybe, I don't know. But if they are real masters, realized masters, then they know that what they are writing or sharing is all unreal. Why a real master, realized master shares unreal stuff? I don't know. Your story and my story, how it can be different? They are all unreal. I don't give importance to your story, but I give importance to my story. What a joke. What type of master can write it? Maybe who has not still realized the self. Maybe he is stuck up somewhere. Maybe he finds glory in his name and fame. Maybe he still has ego. I'll tell you, the path of Bhagavan is path of finishing off, erasing. Nothing is left. It brings you to nothingness. If you think it will bring a lot of abundance and a lot of things, then I think your ego will be very, very unhappy about it, because it takes away everything. You know, the biggest mantra which we say, Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare means har lena. It takes away everything, takes away ego. Might take away your wealth, your beauty, your fame. Basically, it takes away what is unreal. There is karuna, there is compassion, there is grace in it when it takes away. Otherwise, ego feels proud of everything, achievements, knowledge, our degrees, even our networking or whatever people say, and it survives. And the worst thing about ego is it survives death. If death finishes off, then also it's not a big deal. Then in 100 years, it will be all finished. Who cares? Live life king size. That's what people say. Do what you want to do. But unfortunately, even death cannot touch that ego. Only you can sort it out if you want to. If you're fed up with it, if you don't like it, if you know the fakeness of this ego, how it pretends, how it shows others down, or sometimes it shows us down with guilt and so many stories. You know, Bhagavan's devotees, one thing I would say, they almost has negligible ego, very, very less. They were all very thin. That's why it finished so quickly. They were even thrown out of the ashram. They never complained. And they always praised Bhagavan, continued on that path till the end. They were so noble people. So many of them. Murugnar, read about him. He was asked to leave ashram. Sadhu Om. Bhagavan asked Annamalai to leave and never come back to the ashram. And he followed Bhagavan's teachings and never came back. Even the day when Bhagavan left his body. All realized beings. Bhagavan takes us to the pure silence within us. He calls from within in form of his teachings, prayers, form, photo, whatever. And it brings us back here in his own mysterious way. You can't see, but it does everything for you. They say mother feeds the child when the child cries for milk. But Bhagavan does everything. You just have to become a devotee, that's all. He gives you 5-star treatment. He finishes off everything. Our job is to not keep looking other places and thousands of other methods. And I have to say that because I have seen people come and they talk, and when sometimes I go to their house or when they tell their story, they are following 20 people, not 1 or 2 or 3, sometimes a lot of people. They don't attend one satsang, they attend so many different satsangs, so many different practices. Why? Because they have doubt. They think that this is not going to sort it out. I have to do other things also. When we have no faith, then how will it happen? It only happens when we have 100% faith, and that is always the same. Grace never changes. Only we have to be ready. And it is also not the matter of how long it takes to be on this path. It can happen in few days. You know, one of Bhagavan's devotees, Sadhu Om, people used to ask him that how come he got it in 5 years? For them it looked like very short time, 5 years. He said it took 5 years because I was dumb. I was foolish. Otherwise it can't even take 5 days. If you want that supreme bliss emanating from you all the time, till you are in this body, till last breath, give up this ego, give up this to worship. Surrender to that Bhagavan within you. And then become that Bhagavan only, nothing else. It's not that you keep Bhagavan on a pedestal above and yourself below. If you do like this, your ego will continue its journey. You just surrender, give up. Then what is left is that only. Because a teacher or a guru has brought you there, so you have reverence and respect for him or her. But that doesn't mean that you are any way less than your teacher. You are same. Exactly same. When devotee has devoted his ego, then what is left is only that. I know some people, whatever they do in their life, sometimes they feel they are applying brakes to their freedom, because of circumstances, because they think if I do this, then this will happen. Just let it be, let it go, be free. Allow it to do surgery on you. Whatever is happening, let it happen. Have faith and see how quickly it happens. Be immersed in the ocean of pure silence. Be in this ocean of pure silence all the time. This is self-effulgent, it's pure light. And it's everywhere, in everything. Only grace brings us to this pure knowledge. Otherwise, this knowledge was always there. But we had no clue. So we can count our blessings. There is something good happening. Have more faith in it. Surrender all your doings to it. It will take care of it in the best possible way. Don't put your own demands and your conditions for your own liberation. Don't use ifs and buts. Let it be whatever comes. How can you finish this role which you are playing? By keeping quiet, isn't it? Every intention will make you involved in this role. Every intention, good or bad, doesn't matter. No intention will free you. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Arunachal Ramanaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.